So, I jumped onto Battlefield 2042 in 2025, and I did that because I've not played the game for a couple of years now, and it had one of the most disastrous launches. I mean, to the point where there were hovercraft driving up the side of buildings, there were jets hitting buildings and not taking damage. There was hardly any destruction. It launched in such a bad way. I think even I was posting complaint after complaint after complaint about the game when it first came out. But they have put a lot of work into it. I don't know what's happening with future Battlefield titles. It's been quiet for a long time as far as I am aware. But I downloaded the game. I wanted to see what's changed, at least in the last year or two. So what I did was jumped into my favourite Battlefield game mode of all time, which is Conquest. And I jumped into the 128 player variant because I originally started playing Battlefield, I think it was Bad Company 2, and then I carried on from there playing on Xbox, and now I don't really play console anymore. I'm more of a PC player. I still use like my Game Pass Ultimate, which gives me EA Play, which is how I play on PC, but I downloaded the game on PC. I jumped into the 128 Conquest mode, the 128 players, and I'm going to say it was pretty good. I mean, I did have someone kicking off at me in the team text chat. Someone said I'm like one of the worst, like shittiest tank drivers they had ever seen, because I parked it up at the side of the map and I was just trying to pick people off from a distance. But you know, some people get a bit funny about that. They want to be right in the middle of the action. They want to risk their tank being blown up instead of sitting back and trying to pick people off. People are going to play the game, obviously, however they want to, so get the fuck out my tank. I'm sitting here. You can go run off and do what you do. I'm going to try picking people off. That was that scenario, over and done with. I enjoyed the rest of that match. I even jumped into one of my teammates' helicopters at one point a little bit before the tank situation. And we went round, we obliterated a few enemies, and then we got taken out of the sky. But then after the first match, it was kind of like, well, what are you doing to this game, or what have you done to this game in the last couple of years? Because there's an average of between, I'm going to say like 4,000 and 8,000 concurrent players on Steam. And when I first loaded the game up on PC, like it's cross progression, it's carried over my stuff from Xbox. So I'm like level 54 or something like that. But it gives you the option to turn on crossplay. And I'm just going to double check everything here because I'm not 100% sure if crossplay includes Steam. So yeah, I've just looked it up, and cross-platform play in 2042 is available on PC, PlayStation and Xbox. However, it's like generation based, so PS4 and Xbox One play together, and PS5, Series X and S and PC play together. So I had crossplay on, and I think the 24-hour peak on Steam for concurrent players is around 8,000. At the time I was playing, it was around 4,000 concurrent players, and after the first match, I searched for Conquest 128 players again. Did I find another game? No. It put me into a lobby, and there were about 5 of us in there. People kept leaving, then you'd get one person join, then a couple of people left again, and it ended up just being me and one other player in that lobby. So I quit, returned to the main menu, and I thought I would try the limited time mode. They had a domination variation of it, so I tried jumping into that, and it couldn't find a match it put me in on my own. And it won't start the game until there's a certain amount of players, so I was essentially just sat in like a lobby. So what I then did was went on to Breakthrough, and could I find a match? I actually did. But when I joined in, the moment I joined in, I spawned in, shot someone with my LMG, put like 4 rounds into them, teammate got the kill, turn around, victory, game over. Back to the lobby, search for 64 player Conquest, did I find a match? No. It put me in with like a couple of people waiting for other players to start the game. So I backed out and had to search again, and luckily this time, bearing in mind PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC crossplay, with it all turned on and everything, I had to search about 5 or 6 times across different game modes to actually get into a battle. And then with how much they didn't bother putting into the game when they first launched it, I was thinking, yeah, we're going to get all these new maps, there's going to be a load new weapons we can try out. But there isn't. There really is not that much that has changed. I ended up playing on Orbital, which was a launch map. But when I got into the match, I was capturing the conquest points, I was like playing the objective, and I had a lot of fun with it. So when you can get into matches, The game is actually fun. It was running smooth, never had any performance issues or anything like that at all. So I mean, after the last 2 years, I don't know how much they put into the game in terms of updates and stuff anymore. I haven't really followed Battlefield for at least a couple of years, but it would seem as though they haven't changed too much, which it's got its positives and its negatives. It's bad because it's a live service game and you kind of want all that content. They're still doing their season passes and shit like that. But then it's good because they're still putting work into the game and they haven't made it to the point where they've got so much in the game that they can't deal with it, or there's performance issues because they haven't tested everything properly. So it's kind of up and down with this one. It's a decent game to play now. I'm going to say it's nothing like the older Battlefields, like your Battlefield 1, your Battlefield 4. I thought Battlefield 5 was a decent game, however they just abandoned it and moved on to 2042. I mean, even Battlefield 3, back on those, was it Operation Metro? Like back in those classic Battlefield days, there's nothing like that at all. But for a Battlefield game, it is okay. However, due to probably issues and just how old it is at this point, you would think there are enough players to find matches consistently. However, it would seem as though there's not because it took so many different attempts to get into a game. I mean, I don't know if that is problems with the servers. I mean, it's probably got to be, like, considering how many people were on Steam. But yeah, I'm going to say not much has changed. If anything has changed, it seems to be for the better. The game's running smooth. It's got some decent content in there. There's not like a plethora of different maps and stuff you can play on as far as I'm aware, because it just kept chucking me into old maps. But is it worth playing it in 2025? I mean, if you've got yourself an EA Play membership, then yeah, I'm going to say it is. Enough has changed in terms of performance and content, like the quality and stuff of it. Enough has changed to make this a playable game. And I've actually got my fingers crossed for like a Battlefield 6 or whatever they're going to do with the next title. I'm really hoping we get one because BF 2042 has been out for 4 years. And what we're going to do is leave that video there. Let me know in the comments because I am so massively out of the loop with this game. Let me know if you know anything about an upcoming Battlefield title, like how much have they actually changed in the last couple of years, because from me getting on the game, jumping into a few matches, I couldn't notice too much, but then I didn't sit there and play for 3 or 4 days in a row. I simply just played a few matches just to see kind of where the game's at now. So let me know all of that good stuff in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed it.